Hi there. My name is Kimberly Inez, and I help businesses demystify technology so that they can generate and nurture leads with marketing automation and AI. So I have a tool that I use constantly that just completely blows my mind. And for this Tool Tuesday, I am going to show you something that I use called Google LM. If you've never heard of Google LM, you are in for a treat because as of now, as of this recording, it is 100% free to use. And if you're not yet using it, you're going to want to use it. So by the end of this video, you are going to see how simple it is to get started and to add documents and content to your notebook so you can start leveraging the power of AI to learn just about anything, anywhere. It's super amazing. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen and we are going to get this started. Okay, so what we're looking at now is Notebook LM. So I'm just going to go all the way back out of Notebook LM for purposes of this training. So we're going to talk about what this looks like when you first log in. So when you first log in, you will get a completely blank notebook and it'll give you some example notebooks. So it'll give you an intro to Notebook LM. It'll give you some examples. And I'll give you my example at the end, but let's just open one of the notebooks. So when you open a notebook, it looks something like this. On the left-hand side, you have what are known as sources. So Notebook LM is a closed system, meaning it doesn't go outside of the sources that you give it for knowledge and information. And this is particularly useful if you have a set of documents from which you want to produce content, but you don't want the AI to hallucinate and to get information and content from sources that you did not approve of. So I'm using this to develop my courses and develop my worksheets and workbooks and things like that because I want it to be from my content that I've given it and nothing more. So we see on the left-hand side, we have a couple of sources. So if we open one of the sources, there is a document here that we can upload or they have uploaded already, some content on the side. And let me close the source. And then they've added more content, more text. So to add a source, it's really easy. You just click a little plus sign. Well, actually, in this notebook, they probably have closed that off, but you would just click the little plus sign. I'll show you that in a second. And then you can go and add your videos, you can add your text and whatnot. So, okay, so why do this in the first place? So we see the sources on the left, and then we see the notes on the top. So it says, why can't I write a note? This is a view only public notebook. Okay, so what we're going to do, since this is just an example, we're actually going to go into my example. So we're going to just go into my untitled notebook. I'm going to click on the three dots and I'm going to edit the title and I'm just going to call it Kim's Demo. Because in my demo, you'll get to see the full power of Google LM. So I've added one source, and this source is actually the manuscript or the ebook to Perfectly Persuasive, which I recommend that you pick up a copy. So you can add additional sources. You can add sources from Google Drive. So you can add your Google Docs and your Google Slides. You can add links too. You can add links to websites or to YouTube videos. This is a game changer because if you add a bunch of YouTube videos, the YouTube videos that you have to add or that you get to add must have transcripts because what the AI does, it takes the transcript from that video as if it were text. And so if it doesn't have a transcript, this doesn't work as well. Or you can just paste text. So you have some options. So you have PDFs, you have text, you have audios, you have Google Docs, Google Slides, websites, YouTube videos, and just plain regular text as a default should you need that. So, okay, I put one PDF in here and I'm going to just play around with that. So the PDF is of the book that I should have in my hand, but I don't yet. I don't currently have that, but it is the Perfectly Persuasive book, Marketing to Both Cats and Humans in the Digital Age. I am the author of that book. So if I wanted to make something from that book, I can just upload the book to Google Notebook LM, and it says, okay, I have one source, but I can add others, and then I can chat with it. So it gave me some sample prompts. It gave me what are some of the key lessons Kimberly Mays has learned from her experience with different cats, and how do these apply to running a successful channel for your business. So we're gonna just put something like who was was Kim's first cat. So in this book, I wrote about digital marketing as it pertains to training cats, and it's kind of like parallels the behaviors of cats to humans when making a buying decision. So it actually got it right. Kim's first cat was a small gray and striped tabby named Tuki. Kim's mom took her to the ASPCA to adopt Tuki when Kim was 6 years old. That is absolutely 1000% correct. So let's dive into it a little bit more. Let's say, what does Kim say about the ideal customer as it pertains to cats and people? Give 3 examples. So I'm asking my book questions. And when I say I'm asking my book, only my book. So this content is only coming from my book. So choosing the right client, Kim uses her experience with cats to illustrate the importance of blah, blah, blah. And then it gives me the 3 examples. So this is wild because it talks about Honey, Tuki, and Jeff, which are all cats that I have had. So I talk about having a personality that's a good fit. I talk about choosing the right client and choosing the right pet. Trying to please everybody is not a good idea. Be selective when choosing pets and clients. So I am blown away right now. And this is the first time that I am doing this. So the fact of the matter is that you're watching this in real time as I do it for the first time with my own book. So I've done this with other things. I've used NotebookLM for a very long time now. This is the first time I've done it with my book. And so let's say we open up the notebook guide. We can create from all of our sources, we can create an FAQ document, study guide, table of contents, timeline, briefing doc. And what's cool is we can generate a podcast between 2 different speakers. So I'm going to generate a podcast, and that podcast is going to be based on my book. And I might actually use it for something, so we'll see. But suggested questions. What are the similarities between cat ownership and online marketing? How can lessons learned from cats be applied to running a successful business? How can businesses leverage the power of automation to improve their marketing strategies? So let's take the second question. So we're still talking as if it were like ChatGPT or something. So let's continue this because this is fun. All right. So it says, here are some of the lessons learned from training cats can be applied to running a successful business according to the sources you provide. This is important. According to the sources you provided. So it's only taken from one PDF file, which is my book. And so now I can look, and if I hover over these numbers, I see exactly the part of the book that I wrote that answers the question. So it is not hallucinating. And then at the bottom here of every little like response, we can have save to note, and it'll save notes. So if we want to make a save notes about just about anything, we could do that. We can actually rename our notes. We can do a bunch of really, really, really cool things. And I'm really excited, and it has 10 citations. So if we want to say make a course from this document about adopting cats, it'll do that. And then I'm buying time because I'm hoping that my podcast will be ready in time. So it's generating the podcast, and I'm doing other things too. So I'm talking back and forth to this source. Now, if I were to add another source, then that source would be included in all of the responses. But look, it created a course. So choosing the right cat, preparing for a new cat, choosing the right cat, bringing your cat home, basic cat care, understanding cat behavior, building a bond, responsible cat ownership. And it's taking everything from my book to generate this. So we talk about we talk about just AI in general, that closed loop, that closed system. And this is so important because these are all of my thoughts. So it's not hallucinating, it's not taking someone else's work, it's literally taking from my own content. Now, of course, I'm never going to put out a course about adopting a cat, but if you wanted to make a course from your book, for example, you can absolutely do that. I'm just doing it in a humorous way to give you an example of what you can do with Notebook AI. So it's still generating the podcast. So let's create a study guide. And I did that with one click. So it's going to do that. Create a study guide. So view chat. Where's my study guide? Let me go to Notebook Guide. Yep. So it generated something else. It generated, here's the study guide in the notes. So quizzes, answer keys, essay questions, glossary terms. So it can do a lot of that stuff. So from my book, it created an entire study guide from a single book. You can also, create, I don't think a timeline is applicable. That's more for like a project or something like that, but it created the summary. It's creating the audio overview. And let's see what else we can create because I'm trying to buy some time and I probably should have had this ready. So what I might do is pause the video and then come back. So even if this is broadcasting live, I can still pause the video and then see. We'll see. Let's see some other cool ways to doing this. Please create. What do we want to create? So we did the study guide, we did the course. Let's see, anything that's not related to learning materials. Please create some arguments against the author and responses to the author. I have no idea where this is going to go. Sometimes I just do things for fun. So please create some arguments against the author. It should have been against the author's talking points, but let's see. So look, we have arguments and rebuttals. The author's reliance on personal anecdotes weakens her arguments because her experiences are subjective and do not necessarily generalize, or not necessarily generalizable to a wider audience. Rebuttal. The author could argue that her personal stories serve as relatable illustrations of broader marketing concepts, making them more accessible and engaging for readers. So basically, if you ever wanted to debunk your own arguments or see like what arguments or what gaps are exposed in your content, you can absolutely do that. I do that all the time with things that I create. I say, okay, well, what am I missing? What's the gaps? What arguments can be made against my own content? So I'm happy that I put the rebuttal in here. So it's putting an argument, rebuttal. We could do a bunch of things. What are the three of the author's top picks for email and marketing automation strategies? And I don't want to do too much because obviously I'm selling the book. So I don't want to give all the answers away because I'm selling this and I would like you to buy my book. But these are some of the things that I talk about: lead magnet follow-up, re-engagement series, webinar and live event automation. So it gives me three of the things that I wrote as it pertains to some email and SMS automations. Okay, cool. Look, the podcast is ready. I want to make sure that I am sharing the sound. So let me just stop sharing or advanced sharing options. Just want to share the sound. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then I am going to reshare. I'm going to reshare this window and I'm going to share the sound. Optimize video sharing. Here we go. All right, so now I am back. And hopefully you can hear this podcast. So it's generated a 20-minute podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Always fun to do these.
So today we're tackling a listener submission that I got to say I'm pretty curious about when I first saw it.
Yeah, this one's definitely unique.
It's called Perfectly Persuasive: Marketing to Humans and Cats in the Digital Age.
Catchy title.
Right. By Kimberly Inez Mays.
Now, she's a digital marketing expert, but also
lifelong cat lover.
Exactly. So she kind of brings these two worlds together
Hmm.
and uses her experiences with cats to teach marketing concepts.
Yeah, and I have to say, it's surprisingly effective. Like, who knew our feline friends could be such great business coaches?
Right. It's definitely not your typical marketing book. It's fun, it's engaging, and she
My
makes these
mind is
sometimes complex
blown.
ideas really relatable.
So let's jump right in. One of the first things that struck me was how she compares nurturing a kitten to starting a new business.
Oh, yeah, that's a great analogy. She talks about how both start with the basics. A kitten needs food, warmth, safety.
And a business needs a clear vision, a target audience, a solid plan.
Exactly. It's about building that strong foundation, making sure they have what they need to survive and thrive.
And we're
And
only
what I found
one
really
minute
interesting
in,
was
Yeah.
so
like using leftover cat food.
Well, not exactly.
Yeah.
But the idea is similar. You take one piece of content and transform it into multiple formats. Capabilities, your limitations, your pricing.
No hiding the catnip under the rug.
Exactly.
okay, so my mind is officially blown. I'm going to download this, and this is going to be something supplemental that I put in my ebook. So for those who purchase the ebook for the book, this will also be included because it is a 20-minute, very listenable, very enjoyable summary and podcast of the book's content. I love the voices. The only thing that it got wrong was the pronunciation of my middle name, but everybody mispronounces Inez anyway. So that's fine. But other than that, my mind is blown. I love this tool so much. So if you have not yet already done so, go to Notebook LM and try it out while it is still available and free to use. All right, so that's all I got for you today. Please come back for another Tech Tuesday. It's been a pleasure to share what I know and share what I love. And if you like this content, please like and share because sharing is caring. And if you want more training on things that you can use for your life and business, definitely let's book a call. The automated thought leader is now enrolling for its next cohort of members, and I would love to take you aboard. All right, everyone, take care and see you later. Bye.